You know, I can't be anything other than who I am. And I spent decades learning about what it would take to move our country forward, including people who, clearly didn't vote for me, to try to make sure that we dealt with a lot of these hard issues that are right around the corner, like robotics and artificial intelligence, and things that are really going to be upending the economy for the vast majority of Americans, to say nothing of the rest of the world. So, I'm now back to being an activist citizen and part of the resistance.
Hello, the living room of renowned theatrical director Roger Debris' elegant Upper East Side townhouse on a sunny Tuesday afternoon in June. Who may I say is calling? Listen, you broken down old queen. He was drunk. He was hot. You got lucky. Don't ever call here again.
Who was that?
Wrong number.
You are listening to 104.1 KQTH, Tucson's News and Talk. I am the beautiful man. The sexy sidekick is close at hand. Charles in charge. Taking your calls at 751-1041. This is Don't Ask, Don't Tell Tuesday, brought to you by our sponsor, Adult Expectations, putting the magic back in the wand. Yes, my friends, this is the day where we unleash DJ Boss Ross, who plays some of the baddest gay bump music in all of Tucson. Don't ask us why, because we're not telling. I'm coming up. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming. It's a Red Hot Tuesday, and we have another Red Hot show for you. At 5 o'clock, we have Stephanie Dunlap of the Hollywood Get Down in studio. We've got to talk about some worldview issues with the editor from the Arizona Daily Independent, Loretta Honeycutt, on today's show. That's going to be in the 4 o'clock hour. We also have a story that the ADI put out about NAU professors claim student recordings are part of an attack. And a few weeks ago, we had a student on from NAU, and part of her story about a student who was told to not read his Bible before class has gone national. That's all going to be in the 4 o'clock hour. We also are going to talk about how baby boomers, aging baby boomers, are now re-educating themselves on the Constitution, and they're taking on the younger snowflakes. That is a new battleground that's happening, and it's mostly among the left, my friends. And we're going to talk about that on today's show. But first, Hillary Clinton was talking about, she's talking to some women's group, and while a lot of Democrats are doing an autopsy on the election, and they're finding out that, the Russians didn't have anything to do with it, Hillary Clinton is still very much, my friends, in denial. In denial.
But I was on the way to winning until the combination of Jim Comey's letter on October 28th and Russian WikiLeaks raised doubts in the minds of people who were inclined to vote for me but got scared off. And the evidence for that intervening event is, I think, compelling, persuasive.
Compelling, persuasive. She's sticking to the Comey thing. She's speaking to the Russian WikiLeaks. The Russian WikiLeaks for her losing. Now, never mind what the Russian WikiLeaks revealed. No refutal of, she didn't refute anything that the Russian WikiLeaks said. It's just Russian WikiLeaks. And of course, here's what if she were president, the important issues she would have been talking about.
I I can't be anything other than who I am. And I spent decades learning about what it would take
No, you didn't.
to move our country forward, including people who, clearly didn't vote for me.
Right.
To try to make sure that we dealt with a lot of these hard issues that are right around the corner, like robotics. And artificial intelligence, and things that are really going to be upending the economy for the vast majority of Americans, to say nothing of the rest of the world. So, I'm now back to being an activist citizen and part of the resistance.
And we're cheering, why? Because she has become a part of the active resistance. The resistance. Oh, that just got the crowd going. And since she, did you ever talk about robotics during the campaign? I don't recall anything about the robotics. No, not at all. But she's back, and I say, my friends, that is great. That is wonderful. I'm really, really happy, because if she is leading this party, or she's fighting to lead this party, then this party is going to, oh my gosh, continue to implode. All right. While the Democrats are out there trying to find their way, you have Hillary Clinton. She's finally found her way out of the woods of Chappaqua. We have Republicans that are continuing to flounder. Today, I had the opportunity to listen to Paul Ryan and Vice President Mike Pence explain this budget. And as I listened, I couldn't help but to just become more and more angry. It's like Groundhog's Day. No. It's like that episode of Star Trek, where they keep going through this loop, this time warp, and it was Data. Data was the one who finally figured it out, because Data was like a machine, and he had to get them set straight. And they had been in this time loop for like about 18 days. But the ship that was caught up there with them were in that time loop for 120 years. See, I almost got tired of watching that episode, because I got tired of them showing. It's like they got lazy. It kept showing the same thing over and over and over again. To me, it's like the Republicans are lazy, and they're taking us for granted. I think they're taking us for granted. I'll give you an example in one moment. Right now, we got Robert on the line. Robert wants to make a comment on Hillary's. This is her first. I think it was her first sit-down conversation. Yeah, since the defeat. Yes, she's with Christian What's her name, Ross? Christina Amanpour.
Is it Christiane Amanpour?
Christiane Amanpour. That one. Yeah, Christiane Amanpour. Right. Hey, Robert. Welcome to Wonderful One KQTH.
I'm not too sure about Christina Amanpour, but Hillary Clinton, if she says excess, I call it excess.
Excess?
Excess. Don't need her. She's a has-been. She's washed out.
I've heard rumors, Robert, that she may be gearing up for a 2020 run.
That could be, but they better make sure she's not animatronics.
Maybe that's why she's talking about robotics.
Good point, man.
Yeah. I think the Clintons are washed up. That's why they keep handing out awards to Chelsea like candy, trying to keep their name in the news.
You can tell when she's getting mentored by Obama. Listen to the way she talks.
Wait a minute now. What do you mean by that? Robert, thank you very much for the call. I'll tell you what. She was more animated in these few clips that we heard, and I also saw the video. She actually was more natural, less robotic. Well, maybe because all the pressure of the world is off of her. She's a two-time loser? Is it a three-time loser? She's a two-time loser.
Are we talking two-time loser for president or loser in running for office?
No, two-time loser for president.
Well, she got the nomination once, and then she lost out to some guy that we had for president for 8 years named Barack Obama.
Right.
So, yeah, twice.
Right. She's a two-time loser. Imagine that.
Plus, she's married to Bill. That's 3.
Well, now Bill could... if she was... Okay, if it were not for Bill Clinton, she wouldn't have made it as far as she did. She definitely rode Bill Clinton's coattails. But what did Bill get out of it? well, Bill got a barracuda because she destroyed all of Bill's lovers, the bimbo eruption, that kind of thing.
Plus, isn't the whole thing with running for president is like you have to be married? Like you have to have you can't be a single dude running for president,
Not
can
in
you?
the modern era. I don't think you can. That's a very good question. In the modern era, I don't think you would be able to pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you'd be able to pull that off.
Got my insight from whatchamacallit, the show with
Chappelle?
No, the political show on Netflix that's about to come out on season 5.
Oh, the
House of
Rufus
Cards.
one. Yeah, House of Cards. House of Cards.
Yeah,
Right.
because he was running for president. They had a rift with his wife. So yeah,
Yeah, she gotta be there.
in the modern era, you can't be a single dude running for president.
And just like House of Cards, in real life, the Clintons' marriage is even more of a sham than in the House of Cards, which was a sham. But at least you had well, I think that couple was based off of the Clintons. It's a power thing. You have you watched all the episodes? 5 episodes?
One Nation Under Wood.
Have they ever been intimate with each other? Or was it?
Yes, they have.
That was the Hollywood fantasy part of it right there. Because I don't think Bill and Hillary.
And yes, I'm caught up, and the new season is on the 30th.
Oh, it starts up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I stopped after the first. It was too raw, too real for me.
It's a good show.
It is. I heard
Anyway,
it's an excellent show.
Hillary Clinton is at least a 3-time loser in my book.
Okay, because you're still calling Bill as a loss. All right. T-Mac, welcome to 104.1 KQTH.
Hey, just wanted to comment on Hillary. Whenever I'm watching her speak, it seems like I'm watching an episode of Scooby-Doo, and she's going to say, and I would have gotten away with it, too, if it weren't for those pesky kids.
You know what, T-Mac?
Exactly.
That is stone cold brilliant. Ross, we have an assignment. We need to find a loop, but and I would have got away with it if it were not for those pesky kids. That's excellent, T-Mac.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ah, geez, Scoob.
Zoinks!
Zoinks, Scoob.
Rarry.
Zoinks. Right or no, Raggy, we gotta get Hillary.
And WikiWeeks. The WikiWeeks.
I don't know about that, Scoob.
Call me. Wait, that was more like a Yoda. That was more of a Yoda thing with the call me thing. All right. What?
You gotta roll your eyes better, Scoob.
Well, didn't she call her van Scooby at one point? They're driving around in a mystery machine. Boy, we really got off on that one. I'll tell you what, when we come back, we'll have the Zoinks. We'll have, oh, do you have it?
And it would have been mine if it hadn't been for those meddling kids.
All right. Put that together with Hillary Clinton's excuse making there. Yeah. That's what we'll do when we come back. And then we're gonna get into the excuse making on the part of the Republicans.
By the way, side note, Joe Namath talking North Korea. Hilarious.
Shut up.
And he's now talking border wall.
Yeah, Fox is going down. They're on their way out. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH.
I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan. Too sexy for Milan, New York, and Japan.
have been mine if it hadn't been for those meddling kids.
We're going to talk about Fox News today. We were just watching it over the break. You know, got Joe Namath on with Karl Rove on the news show. What is it? The Fox Specialists?
The Fox News Specialists.
It takes time for new things to gel, but there's too many new things coming at once with Fox as they're, I think, cleaning house. We will talk about that. But I want you to hear some things. We got a couple of clips here. From Paul Ryan this morning. Paul Ryan had a press conference again. It was a victory press conference. They're coming out. He had a bunch of other Republicans with them, and they all had those fake smiles on their face, and they were just so excited because of the big win for the Republicans. I put out a video earlier today, another Facebook rant. And part of that rant, I was discussing how, you know, I don't remember Democrats having come out and justify giving in to Republican demands in order to get their things done, like, you know, the stimulus package or Obamacare. I don't remember the Republicans coming away happy because at least we got something. That never happened. That never happened. And so I'm listening to this today, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I don't ever remember Democrats coming out and trying to justify a loss as if it were a win. Paul Ryan, today, press conference, speaking. Who was speaking first? Oh, yeah, let her speak first. How long does she talk?
I know you're all here to talk about the Working Families Flexibility Act. I'm excited that this bill has come to the floor and that the Speaker and the leader and the Chairwoman have been so supportive, even carried this bill a few times herself. This is an amendment to the Fair Labor Standards Act that allows for workers in the private sector to do what hourly wage employees in the public sector can already do, and that is utilize the benefit of compensatory time in lieu of cash payments for overtime. This bill is very simple. Whoa. Congress cannot legislate another hour in the day, and if you talk to hardworking moms,
let her play. Let her
and dads all over this country, a lot of them will tell you that they value time more than they do the cash payments for overtime. Again, public sector employees can already do this. Look, our workforce has changed and our policies haven't kept up with that. Just 50 years ago, only 30% of moms worked outside of the home. Today, that's over 70%.
I just don't.
So we have a lot of issues that I know you're going to talk about today, whether it's health care or tax reform or funding our government. But while we continue to work on those very important policies, this is something that we can do to demonstrate to the American people about how we care about the need for flexibility in the workforce. And the Working Families Flexibility Act does just that by giving hourly wage employees in the workforce the ability to utilize paid time off, compensatory time, if they choose to, in a voluntary agreement with their employer. Only if the employee wants to utilize this can they under this bill. So again, I appreciate the leadership here, the Speaker, the leader, and of course Kathy's. No one has been a stronger advocate for family values than Kathy. So again, look forward to this bill coming to the floor today, and thank you.
Okay, that hurt. I'm sorry. I thought I cut her out. That was 2 times that I had to listen to that today, and it just hurts me. But is Ryan next? I believe so. Okay, let's try again.
I want to highlight some of the important things that are in the funding bill that is coming to the floor this week. A couple of things. First, this puts more boots on the ground to bolster our border security.
Yeah, more boots on the ground.
This is the biggest increase in border security funding in a decade.
Where's the wall?
It provides more resources to combat the opioid epidemic, which is a high priority for Republicans here in Congress.
Where's the wall?
It expands the school choice program. That's something that many of us feel very passionately about. It expands the D.C. school choice opportunity scholarship program. It maintains our pro-life protection.
Oh, pro-life protection.
No new money for Obamacare.
What?
No insurance company bailouts.
I'm confused.
Major increases in defense spending while holding the line on non-defense. This is something that I think is really important that people are sort of missing in this really important story.
We're missing this, folks.
I cannot understate how much of a game changer this is.
Pay attention.
I used to negotiate budget agreements with the Obama administration. Under President Obama, Democrats insisted that an increase in defense spending be tied to an equal increase in non-defense spending. You want to help the troops? You want to help the military? I need just as much money for domestic discretionary spending. That was the Obama rule that we lived under for 8 years.
Right. Now we changed it. We ran out of time. Thank God. But we got to hear more. Oh, we got Ronaldo from the behind the cheddar curtain. He's on the phone too. Yes. This will be interesting because I know in Wisconsin people are still really, really behind Speaker of the House Ryan. He's the homeboy made good kind of thing. But I listened to this press conference, and no, I am not torturing you. I see the comments on Facebook. Oh, he's torturing us. He's doing this on purpose. No, I'm educating you people. If I got to watch this stuff, so do you. That's not true, actually. But there were some interesting things that were said here, and now I have cognitive dissonance. Who do we believe? I got to give it the other side as well. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH.
I can feel you in my ecstasy. The lamb and the lion, we lay down in peace.
You are listening to 104.1 KQTH, Tucson's News and Talk. We were interrupted. We were listening to Paul Ryan. We were interrupted mercifully by a commercial break. But again, there's a minute left in this, and then I'm going to go to Ronaldo. Please continue listening. My friends, this is very important. The Speaker of the House is educating us on the importance of this $1 trillion omnibus bill.
They insisted on this even as our military plunged further and further into a readiness crisis. Well, we got to a point that our Air Force pilots were going to museums to find spare parts over the last 8 years. Okay. We got to our point where some of our planes are so outdated that whole fleets would qualify for antique license plates in Virginia.
Okay, who wrote
this? This forced parity that we lived under the Obama years really constrained our ability to rebuild our military for this century. This appropriations bill changes all of that.
Okay.
No longer are the needs of our military going to be held hostage for increases in domestic spending.
But he didn't.
This means that we can finally make real important strides to increase and improve our readiness. It means we can get our service members the tools and the resources they need to confront the threats that we face all around the world. Well, we have a lot more work to do to rebuild our military. This is a very big first step.
Ronaldo from Behind the Cheddar Curtain. Welcome to 104.1 KQTH.
Thank you for having me, James T. Harris. And I would call it the way it has to be called, okay?
Okay.
And I'm from Wisconsin.
Yes.
You know, a couple of things. Number one, and this is where I might have a slight disagreement with you. This budget process started last year. Mm-hmm. And that's when President Trump was not even elected at that point.
Correct.
So this is where probably he could not have a full stamp. Number two, each side had to give up something. And by the way, I'm not defending it totally, 100%. But you know that if the government shut down, guess what? They will have they would have criticized President Trump.
I don't care. Ronaldo, I don't care. I don't care who gets blamed for a government shutdown.
Wait a minute.
Come on.
James C.
Come on.
James C. Now, the concern that I have, and I'm beginning to watch, is the leadership styles of Paul Ryan.
Right.
It is time to deliver. And in this point, you and I, we are in agreement. I think that Speaker Ryan is a very capable person. He's a policy wonk that understands policy and the government better than anyone else. I think that his leadership style is wanting at this point.
Okay.
And my concern is not only this, it's also with the health care bill and also delivering the tax cut. I'm sounding the alarm, and I think that it's time for the Republican Party to look for a strong leader.
Let me take you back, though. No, let me take you back. Because you said that this is a budget that was, started before Trump was even in office. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
And bear in mind that we were not even running with budgets before.
Remember, okay? You're right. It was all continuing resolutions with no budget at all, just a continuing resolution, just like this last thing was a continuing resolution. All right.
Correct.
Remember when the pitchforks and the torches came out and Boehner went bye-bye? And then Paul Ryan, assumed the speakership. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Remember under Paul Ryan, we had that garbage assets continuing, the same thing as before. And what was the excuse? Well, see, it's not Ryan's fault because this was baked in. It was baked in with Boehner. So we really couldn't change anything because it was baked in, but it didn't matter because Obama was president anyway. And the Obama and the Democrats got everything they wanted, Ronaldo.
James T., and this is the point that I'm bringing, the last point that I brought. I think that the warning signals are there, at least from my perspective. And I don't know about you. I think that Paul Ryan is a capable policy wonk that understand the federal government's and budgets better than anyone else.
Right.
I think that his leadership skills are wanting. And whether you agree or disagree, Pelosi might have not known anything. But remember her quote, her words, you have to pass it to see what is in this bill. But she was a hammer.
Well, so in a very real way, so was Boehner. Boehner, he tried to corral the cats. He did corral the cats, and he got enough of the votes to get Obama what he wanted. My question simply is this, Ronaldo. I don't disagree with you. I think that Paul Ryan is a policy wonk. I think he does. I know in many situations he's the smartest man in the room.
Say something. Remember that he didn't want the job.
No,
originally. and if you don't want the job, why are you electing someone who doesn't want the job?
Because nobody at the time. Here's the deal. I don't think there's anybody else in the House right now that is capable of really. Let me back up a little bit. What we need out of Paul Ryan is a little bit more corralling the cats. What we need from Paul Ryan is a little bit more, this is how it's going to work. He's tried the whole it's the my way or the highway, and it backfired on him. It totally backfired on him, especially with the latest Obamacare bill. But Ronaldo, you have to admit that when the Democrats ran the joint, they never did press conferences trying to convince the Democrats that they had a win.
Because they are very good at messaging. And that's something that for the life of me, James T., I do not understand why we are not
the reason why we're
at messaging.
The reason why we're so bad. Leadership. The reason why we're so bad at messaging, Ronaldo, is because we don't win. You don't have to message when you win. When you win, the message takes care of itself. When you win, you have the Democrats crying and complaining and moaning because they lost. The reason why our messaging is so bad is because we don't have the will to win, my friend. Win. I'm sick. I was promised that I would get sick of winning, Ronaldo. I was told that we'd be winning so much, we would get sick of it. We would say, please, President Trump, please stop winning. I don't have that feeling, Ronaldo. I don't have that feeling.
And let me tell you something. I don't have that feeling in the sense that I'm concerned about the leadership. And I'm sorry. I think that there are some people in the Republican Party that can do a better job.
Absolutely.
A person that I have met that I enjoy, I think that he can do it, Sean Duffy. In the Senate, let's get
Sean Duffy doesn't want it though. Sean Duffy's he's not even what did he was going to run for the Senate, then he decided to stay in the House. He said he got too many kids or something like that. He's not going to take on the speakership role. He's got more kids than Ryan did. Ryan played the kid excuse.
I understand, but at least he has the traits. Now in the Senate, I think that Mitch McConnell is very good at counterpunching and defense. He's not very good at strategy and winning. And one guy that you probably disagree with me, but this is the Wisconsin cheddar.
Ron Johnson?
Ron Johnson.
Yeah, Ron Johnson's excellent. I don't have a problem with that.
Ron Johnson, I met Ron Johnson, and I think he has what it takes to take leadership.
But you know what? He may have the same problem. He may have the same problem that Ryan has, though. He's just kind of soft. I don't mean in a bad way, but he's not a crack the whip kind of guy.
Well, and that's a problem. We need a person like Tom DeLay, Tom DeLay was very...
Yes. We need somebody kind of Newt. Somebody that's going to stir it up. We're not... Listen, man, I'm up against the wall. You did a fine job. Friend. You did a fine job of representing Wisconsin politicians, though. You did.
Yeah.
But I'm an AZ boy now. After having had to contend with the Maverick, I'm not playing it. I'm not having it anymore.
No, and I agree with you. That's another one that we should retire.
Ronaldo, thank you very much for calling in today.
Thank you.
Right.
Goodbye.
Yeah, see. Hey, you all remember when I used to be like that? Remember? That's just a couple of weeks ago. I seen the light. Eric, welcome to 104.1 KQTH.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely.
this Paul Ryan thing. Paul Ryan is smart enough to get the job done.
Sure he is.
I think he's even tough enough to get the job done.
Sure he is.
Mitch McConnell, if he wanted to, is entrenched enough, knows the right people, he could get the job done. But what we have are the leaders of the Congress and Senate, both of whom want to see Trump fail. And so what they keep producing are things that they either believe will dishearten Trump's base, like this latest budget, where they gave, I don't care, you can say we won something, we didn't win anything, we lost everything, and we gave it all to the Democrats.
Yes.
They built that bill. That's 1,600 pages of bill that they put together to make Trump look bad. And they passed it. They will get it passed because they will whip people in shape. They will say, oh, yeah. But it's purposeful, James.
How is it purposeful?
They're doing it on purpose.
Oh, yeah. No, listen.
They are doing it on purpose to hurt Trump because they didn't want him to begin with. And when he made it, they could barely believe it. They fought as hard as they could to keep him from getting in. And now they're thinking, how can we get him out? How can we delegitimize him?
I heard
They're
today.
committing suicide.
I
to
heard
hurt him.
Vice President Pence today talk about bipartisanship, cooperation. We were able to get this to prove to the American people we could work together. And I started asking myself, when was that part of Trump's rhetoric? We the people, we didn't vote for bipartisanship. We didn't vote to get along. We voted to see the Democrats get absolutely rolled.
That's right. And not only that, but check this out. The Democrats never play across the table.
Exactly.
The Democrats always say, you do it our way or we kick your doors in.
Or no. The Democrats always say, you do it our way or the government shuts down and we blame it on you.
or you will be shutting the government down. That's right.
Right.
They're smart enough to know it. You're smart enough to know it. I'm smart enough to know it.
So what does that mean?
What we have is a purposeful attempt to make Trump look bad.
Yep.
Ryan is in on it.
Yep.
There's no question about it.
I'm sorry,
I feel that way. I think Pence would actually like to be a good vice president for Trump.
I'm mad at Trump. I'm mad at Pence too. I'm mad at him. Those comments today roiled me. They roiled me. I don't want to hear about bipartisan. If the next Republican that talks to me about bipartisanship, I may just to the moon. To the moon. Thank you very much for the call, Eric. I'm sorry. Don't talk to me about bipartisanship. I can give a hot damn about bipartisanship. I did not vote Donald Trump into office to get along with the Democrats, the very party who's been trying to destroy us for the last 8 years. I'm sorry. I did not vote him into office to try to get along with the people who see us as the enemy. You're right. We're the enemy, and we beat you. Start acting like it, for God's sake. You're listening to 104.1 KQTH, Tucson's News and Talk.
That I would never love again, but you made me feel something. My mind's always on. Could you tell me what to do? Tell me what to say.
You are listening to 104.1 KQTH Tucson's News and Talk. I know what you're doing out there. You're calling into the show so I don't play the other part of Paul Ryan's press conference today. You think you're slick, trying to avoid hearing Paul Ryan's press conference, so you're jamming up the phone lines. See, that's like what my class used to do. Instead of, when I'm trying to teach a class, we have a new lesson. Mr. Harris, tell us about the time you were in Budapest. I'm not going to tell you any more stories right now. Mr. Harris, tell us about when you were like in Africa and that snake almost bit you. I'm not going to tell you any more stories right now. We got work to do. And all of a sudden they broke out into a chant. We want a story. We want a story. It was crazy. My first year teacher was crazy. So I told him a story. Dylan, welcome to 104.1 KQTH.
Well, hello. I just want to let you know I'm speaking to you legally, hands-free, via Bluetooth from my car.
Fantastic in Tucson. That's right.
That's right. So here's the deal. I'm so sick of seeing us snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. We won.
Yes.
And I don't understand. It seems like congressional leadership, the longer they're up there, the more they crave some kind of approval from the Democrats or from the press or from I don't know who, but it's like they want everyone to say, oh, we were wrong and you were right. And
one thing,
that's
Dylan,
never going to happen. You're just going to have to do it.
To your point, they want to seek approval from everybody else except for the people who put them there. How about seeking approval from us?
Right. Well, it's just like John McCain is a fine example. I mean, he doesn't represent the state of Arizona, his constituency. Our Republican Party, who voted to censure him, somehow he never gets the message that he's not doing, and they get reelected. I don't know.
Well, because censorship isn't enough, Dylan. I mean, they never get the message because we haven't had people rise up enough to throw him out. And because, quite frankly, he uses his money to wipe out the field so that we can't get a viable candidate. They're all afraid to go against him because they've seen how other people have been destroyed by his machine. Before they even declare, he's got them targeted, and ready to, to get wiped out.
Yeah, he's got those resources.
And yet, it's still our responsibility. I mean, it's just makes it more difficult to do the right thing. But he and others like him, they need to go. They're part of that swamp that needs to be drained, Dylan.
But yet, we're going to have to drag the Democrats and the bureaucracy and the government kicking and screaming in the right direction. They're never going to just say, they're never going to look at our arguments and positions and say, oh, well, you're right. Or even, well, let's try it your way and see if it works.
See, they're not. Because look, even right now, when you take sanctuary cities, for instance, we're still funding illegality. The Democrats are now at the point, well, we think that these laws are immoral, so we're not going to follow them. What are you going to do about it? And they got half of the judicial system with them. So, I mean, it's going to take pitchforks and, torches in order to drag them out kicking and screaming.
They have a record, a litany of failures. You look at all these Democrat-run cities around the country. They're disasters. 50 years.
You're right about
horrible policies.
More than 50 years.
They'll never concede that they failed. They'll never admit that it's their fault.
As you said, we need to stop asking them to concede and just flat out beat them. Thank you for the call, Dylan. Let me go to Mike. Squeeze him in here real quick. Mike, welcome to 104.1 KQTH. Got like about a minute.
Okay. Well, it won't take a minute.
Okay.
No, it's a good thing my hair fell out years ago, or else I'd be pulling it out about now. Right up there talking like they actually won something, and I'm going, I was getting half what they needed for the military.
Right. How's that a win?
And the thing is, it's going to have a negative effect on the military, the personnel. I got a nephew in the Army. He wanted to go career, but he says he can't stay in. When his time's up, he's getting out because it costs too much to be in there. Because they take all that money out for food, $350 for food and stuff. But where that goes to the commissary, and you're paying for everybody else's stuff too, and their own equipment and all that. He says he just can't afford it.
And see, that's just absolutely absurd on so many different levels. So to hear Paul Ryan up there bloviating about how this is a win because we got more than we did in the last 8 years is just kind of insulting. Thank you very much for the call, Mike. It's insulting. I'm sorry. Is this better than what we would have, if Hillary Clinton was president? No. That's just it. No. They're still winning. Oh, James, this was not Trump's this was not his budget. So write it for Trump. I don't think the American people are just gonna put up with this. No, we're not. We're really not. We're done. Yeah, flood your phone the phone lines in Washington, D.C. Tell your representatives you don't want this. Start winning.